River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan here along with Eric. Eric, say hello.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
James, unfortunately, could not be here with us for this week's episodes. Hopefully, he's out of his turkey coma by now. We peel behind the curtains. We tape all of our episodes on Mondays, so he is still in his food coma as of the 27th. And to just put it out there, because this is our betting episode, I want to get in the habit of saying this right on top. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you believe you have a problem. And check your individual state's laws and regulations when it comes to gambling. We get our information the day we tape from Draftkings. They are subject to change. Okay, now I got that out of the way. I'll say it again at the end. But anyway, guys, yes, this is our parlay episode, our weekly parlay episode. James has gotten me more into gambling. I just love that. Like Mr. Jimmy B, I should say. Mr. Jimmy B came up with this idea, if you haven't followed us with these. And so we decided to do parlays, actual parlays with our own money down. Instead of just telling you what to do, we're putting our money where our mouth is. And so I'm Indiana Dan. Eric, we came up with Easy E. Again, unfortunately, Jimmy B could not be with us. But anyway, we all three were able to consult on these picks that I have up here, and we are going to go through each of these games. We have a 6-leg parlay this time. We didn't go balls to the wall with 8 or 7. We played it a little safe this time. We're not doing any. What's it called when it's not just the money line? We're not doing anything flashy like that.
Yeah, we're not playing the spread or anything.
Yeah, no, we're playing it relatively safe this week. But yeah, the first game that we have up here for you guys, we think it's a very safe bet, and it is not the safest bet that we have this week. That's our next game. But the Seattle Seahawks going to Dallas. The main thing that you need to know about this game is that Dallas hasn't lost at home, and Geno is still somewhat hurt. They had a relatively embarrassing showing against us in our pass rush. Dallas's pass rush, not that far behind us. They just have top to bottom, they have a very, very good defense. I'm not going to just crap on them because, give credit where credit is due. They have a defensive back that has 5 pick sixes this year. And they still, like I said, they have a great pass rush. Seattle's going to have a lot to deal with, and I think it's a pretty easy bet for to pick Dallas as the winner for this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Cowboys have been squashing everybody that's an inferior opponent to them all season long. I mean, if you look back at their track record, everybody that's got a losing record against them, which is the only people that the Cowboys have beat this season, they're absolutely just destroying. They're beating by like 20 points or whatever. So the Seahawks actually do have a winning record. So interested a little bit to see how this game goes. I'm not 100% sure that the Seahawks are as good as the record is, but this is the Cowboys' first chance to actually really beat someone with a winning record and get that kind of notch on their belt this season. So we'll see how that goes. I wouldn't take the spread in this game just because of that. So I think the money line is still a pretty safe bet. Be really interesting if the Seahawks pulled the upset. That would it would suck for our card, obviously, but it would be a really interesting exposure of the Cowboys this season in terms of what they can actually do and what they can who they can actually beat. So, but feel pretty good about this, like you stated. Their defense is really legit. They got a guy with 5 pick sixes this season. I don't think it's going to be too hard for them, but still will be, I think, an interesting watch overall.
Yeah, maybe they only lose by 14 instead of 30 or however much they've beaten down really inferior teams. But no, Dallas at home and the way that we took care of Seattle, they're still reeling from that. So no, this should be an easy win. The next game is the most lopsided pick of the week. which I'm a little surprised at. Like, I'm surprised that there's not more people going. I don't know. I get how it works. Like, everybody is assuming that the Dolphins are going to win because they beat teams that are under 500. I don't know. A part of me wants to give Washington a little bit of credit because, I mean, my thoughts on Sam Howell have changed since last we spoke about him leading the league in passing yards. It's not that they have a wholly incompetent offense. It seems like they're okay for a little bit, and then they just let the game go completely haywire and way out of control. I feel bad for them. Like, I don't know. A part of me, I guess, hopes that they actually stand up to the Dolphins a little bit, because the Dolphins definitely have some flaws. The Dolphins could probably let them be in this game, but at the end of the day, no, I agree with you and Jimmy that picking Miami over Washington, even in Washington, is the right bet to make. I don't know. A part of me, I don't know. I have a feeling that Washington might give them a little bit more of a headache than they're anticipating.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins have a couple of things going against them. I think they're coming to Washington. The Dolphins don't play as well on the road. They're notorious for not playing as well once they leave the happy state of Florida. It's probably going to be crappy weather this weekend up here on the East Coast.
Just like last week.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to have the benefits of that for them as either. You know, they like to play, quick, fast, and loose and stuff like that, which doesn't necessarily work as well in the elements and things like that. So is there a scenario where the Commanders can grind out a win? Maybe. They've shown themselves to be feisty and have some fight. Howell is not a terrible quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. He just, he makes some dumb mistakes because he's still basically a rookie, hasn't really played a ton. He is a rookie, I should say, and hasn't, played a ton. So he's making mistakes. He's learning on the job. But, in terms of, trying to win money, this should be a sure bet. But, as we've noted over the last few weeks, there are no sure things in Vegas. So, if the Redskins pulled the big upset here, I wouldn't be, I guess, terribly surprised, but would certainly be somewhat shocking.
Yeah, and the commies, sir. Let's use the appropriate nickname, the commies. We're a classy family show here, damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the next game. Detroit coming off an embarrassing home loss on Thanksgiving. 7 years in a row they've lost on Thanksgiving, even when they have the world in front of them. The world's their oyster, and they blew it. Green Bay just kicked the doors in, and they just didn't give them an inch. But they are going to be going to New Orleans. I have my feelings about New Orleans. I think they are fakers. It's amazing that they do have some fight and they do stay in some games, but I don't know. I'm waiting for the bubble to burst with New Orleans. That said, though, Detroit also has been really out of it the last 2 weeks. They did pull out the win at the last second against Chicago, but then I don't know. Green Bay just ran all over them. So I don't know. They're going to New Orleans. New Orleans really does have home field advantage because those Saints fans are passionate even when they're garbage, and they're not finger quotes garbage this year. So I think Detroit will have a get right game this week. I do say that with full confidence. It is going to be a really interesting matchup, though. I don't have that much time to watch football this weekend, but I would be really keen to keep an eye on this game. Again, I think Detroit, I'm saying pick Detroit, but going to New Orleans is not easy, even when the Saints are inferior on paper.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on Detroit yet this season. I do think they're a lot better than what they've looked the last couple of weeks versus the Bears and the Packers. I think they're a very well coached team, and I think that's going to really be partially the difference in this game this week. I believe Dennis Allen is the coach down there in New Orleans, and I don't think he's a very good coach. And Dan Campbell is. And so I think he's going to know the right buttons to push and the right things to do in this game to push Detroit over the edge and to the win. I think it'll be a well-fought game. New Orleans isn't terrible. They're good-ish, sort of, I guess. They're like above average, I would say. even though the record would not really indicate that. I mean, but I think the Lions are just a level above them, and when it comes to matching up weight class wise. And I think that they'll probably end up not dominating that game, but probably winning by about 10 points. That's what I look for.
Yeah. I mean, the end of the day, it should be a get right game for Detroit. Like, for them, no, they definitely want to dominate them. But yeah, I could see this coming down to. Do you have the spreads? Do you happen to have the spread in front of you? Like, is the spread more than 7? Like, I can't imagine. I can't imagine this is more than a 7-point spread.
I can tell you pretty quickly. The interesting aspect about that will be if Detroit doesn't win that game, it's only 4.
Okay, that makes sense.
If Detroit doesn't win that game, people are going to start having a lot of real questions about Detroit and whether or not they're an actual playoff contender or not, because people up until this point still believe in Detroit and think that Detroit's a real challenger for the playoffs this season and that they can really make some noise. But if they go on this, it would be a 2-game skid, and with a third game where they barely squeaked out a win against Chicago, people are going to really lose faith in the Lions. So this is really, in my mind, it's a must-win game for them. They can't really lose this game.
Oh, for sure. Like, I hadn't thought about it quite that deeply, but no, you're right. Like, in a way, this really is a must-win for them after barely skirting away with the Bears and then the embarrassment of Thanksgiving. No, that'd be their 4th loss if they lose this game, right?
Yeah, and if they have any hopes of keeping a number 1 seed dream alive, I mean, they have to win. So it's all out for them at this point.
Yeah, see that. That's just going to make it that much worse if they do end up losing. I still think, again, confidently think that they will win. I think Dan Campbell will rile them up after having, and they were division games too, which I've preached before, that division games, can swing one way or the other. Like, it's kind of hard to predict those. But yeah, no, that's going to be, I wish I wasn't so busy on Sunday. Anyway, on to the next game. The Chargers are going to New England. This one I'm okay not watching. I have no desire. Like, after how embarrassing, I didn't even watch the game yesterday. We got our Netflix situation fixed, and we finally got back to watching Shameless because we were without Shameless for 3 weeks. We were without Shameless, except sporadic here and there, depending where we were at. But no, I didn't watch that game. But I checked I was checking the Bleacher Report box score periodically. Chargers just keep on charging, man. Like, why was Frank Reich fired today and not Brandon Staley? Like, there's so much talent on that roster. I don't understand how they keep tripping over themselves and throwing up all over themselves every single week. They should beat New Orleans. Is this the pick I'm the least confident in? Yeah. Like, it's Bill Belichick. Like, it's still Bill Belichick, as putrid and awful as New England is on offense. Like, I have a buddy that I call the Patriots Insider on here. He went to the game against the Giants, and he said that Mac Jones is even worse in person. So whether Zappy actually adds some life to the offense or not, like, we'll just see. It doesn't seem like he's going to, because he played just as bad, if not worse, than Mac Jones against the Giants. So no, I will take the Chargers in this game too. This might be the last game they win the rest of the season, though. Like, if they don't win this game and they ruin our ticket, like, seriously, fire Brandon Staley if they lose to the Patriots. I don't care that they're in New England. Just get Brandon Staley out of the building so they can end the season with some dignity.
Yeah, I mean, I picked this game based more on my faith that the Patriots suck and are terrible than the Chargers are going to do good and win this game.
Very fair.
I mean, the Patriots have been atrociously bad for the last 4, 5, 6 games. Mac Jones is terrible. Bailey Zappi also bad. They can't do anything offensively. I mean, they're legendarily terrible right now. And so, I mean, if the Chargers can just do anything mediocre resembling football, they're going to win this football game. I mean, the Giants are in no way, shape, or form a good football team, and they pretty handily beat the Patriots last weekend. So, and we all think that the Chargers are better than the Giants. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a pretty easy game for the Chargers. Yes, they are going to New England. Yes, it's probably going to be gross, like we talked about in the Washington game. I don't think that even the Chargers can charger this game away. If they do, it will be of epic proportions and will be something discussed on SportsCenter ad nauseum for the week, because it was just such an epic failure of never seen, that we've never seen before, where, like Keenan Allen's arms fell off as he went to catch a ball or something like that. I mean, it'll be ridiculous.
Oh my God. Even without Joey Bosa, there's no reason that they should lose this game. Like, it's just that simple. Like, no, I will say it now. Like, that's got to be in the general manager's mind. I am firing Brandon Staley if you lose New England. Like, he's probably already told him that. Like, there's no way he's not having whether they win this game or not. He's done. He is a dead man walking. Is that an exaggeration to say with the Chargers?
I mean, I would think so. He would be if I was the owner, but I don't know. Apparently it's like a cat. He's got like 9 lives. Joey Bosa, overpaid? Yes.
What's he? He and his brother both have a really good agent. How old is he? Did he hit 30 yet?
I don't know. I'll look.
Because is he getting 25 million a year?
Oh yeah, of course. Bosa signed. Here we go. Bosa is 28 currently, and he makes 38 mil. Well, his cap hit was 15 million. Next year it goes up to 36 million, and then 32 million when he turns 30.
Well, he's younger than I thought he was. Not by much, but I thought he hit 30 already. Yeah, I'd say his production isn't really.
He's always hurt.
True. I don't. Yeah, that does ring a bell. He is very injury prone, a little bit more than his brother. Like, I mean, yeah, his brother Nick blew out his knee, but chronic lingering, like, oh, this week he's hurt. This week, no, Nick doesn't do that. At least, knock on wood, right now. He is 24 or whatever. But no, well, I'll take that. Joey's a little overpaid. They should ask him to restructure. They should ask him to restructure, if nothing else, next year.
I mean, he's got 6.5 sacks this season. What's that? That's nothing. He had 2.5 sacks last season. What's that? He had 10.5.
With Khalil there, you would think his numbers would be a little higher since they can't double team both of them.
Yeah, he had 10.5 sacks in 2021. Okay, I guess we keep saying, like, we keep talking like 10, like getting over 10 sacks is like the milestone, right? But like, to me, as we've moved into this new age of football where people are passing more, 10 sacks is like kind of not the standard that it really used to be anymore. Like, now it's kind of like 15 is sort of like that kind of mark that you've got to hit in my mind. So like, I'm not really that impressed, but
you would go that high, not like 12.
I mean, like,
the
maybe.
Record is, or no, sorry, not 18. Yeah, the record's 22. Yeah, that is a good debate. Do we need to? That's a good debate for another episode. Do we need to shift the Andy Dalton scale for sacks?
Yeah, so I mean, we could talk about that another time, but I'm going with overpaid. He doesn't play. He gets hurt all the time. He played 5 games. He played 5 games last year. He's only played 9 games this year. He played 12 games in 2020. He played 7 games in 2018. He doesn't play enough.
When you put it that way, I didn't realize he was injured that much. I knew he had injuries, not that many. Damn.
Yeah. All right. Derailed our conversation. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, that's a good topic. I don't even remember that during one of those weeks where we're.
Yeah, for a future show topic, when we're struggling for a second show topic, let's think of what records or what benchmarks do we need to move now that the NFL has kind of like shifted and become a new thing. Like, is a 1,000-yard rusher still a thing? Is a 1,000-yard receiver still a thing? Is a 10 sack season still a thing? What benchmarks do we need to move? Bookmark that.
Oh yes, I'm gonna remember that. Anyway, on to the next game. We only got 2 more to cover. Kansas City at Green Bay. Green Bay showed a little bit of life on Thanksgiving, beating up on their division rival. That's why I only take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, because it was a division rival. Kansas City's defense is really, really good. Like, this is the first time that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have had a defense that's better than their offense. Do I think Green Bay is going to really stymie that offense? I wouldn't take that. But at the same time, yeah, Patrick doesn't have really anybody worthwhile to throw to. Like, MVS is the only reason they lost to the Eagles, because for a speedy deep threat, he's really terrible at catching them. That was why Green Bay let him go. But yeah, no, I don't think that Green Bay's defense is really going to do anything to really stymie Patrick Mahomes that much. Is this an offense that's going to blow people out by like 28 points? So far, no. They should still solidly get the win, though. Like, Jordan Love is going to come back down to earth because Kansas City's defense is pretty legit. It's a pretty. This was going back to finally a safe pick. Like, Kansas City over Green Bay feels like a very safe pick.
Yeah, I mean, this is Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football with Chris Collinsworth slurping him up like he always does. This is a shoe-in, easy win of a game. There is no way that the NFL officials are going to let Patrick Mahomes lose this game. It's just not going to happen. I mean, there's no chance. Jordan Love would have to have the second coming of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers combined to win this game. It's never going to happen. The Chiefs' defense, like you said, is really legit. They're very, very good. The offense, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, is still going to be very, very good. There's no concern that I have in my mind that this game is going to even be remotely close. I think that the Packers are going to be very outclassed in this game. I think Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth are going to be talking about a bunch of nonsense and hootenanny by the time they get midway through the third quarter, because it's going to be about 31-7, and they're not going to have a football game to focus on.
Dang. Okay, so you think it is going to be a much bigger blowout than I do?
Yeah, I don't think the Packers have a shot against this Chiefs defense. This Chiefs defense is really, really, really good. And I don't think that Jordan Love is equipped to handle that. And I think that the Chiefs offense, still with the pieces that they have in place, I think is still going to be able to score and put points up against them. And I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up, and they're going to end up getting into a shootout, and the Packers aren't equipped for that.
Oh, no. I mean, he's got receivers too, but Jordan's lack of experience, and I mean, I don't know. Is his offensive line any good? I can't.
I don't think so, but Steve Spagnuolo is a really good defensive coach, and he's going to throw some wacky shit at earmuffs. He's going to throw some wacky stuff at Jordan Love, and he's not going to know what he's seeing, and he's going to make mistakes. I bet he throws 2 picks in this game.
Oh, I would take that. Even like the way Jordan's played, more times than not. Not every time, but more times than not, I would guess that he would throw 2 picks. I mean, it's his growing year. Like, he's doing about as good as I anticipated. Like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously you hear the hype of like they have 3 great quarterbacks in their legacy. Like, okay, like pump the brakes. Jordan, he's playing fine. He's not a superstar. He's better than Zach Wilson.
You and I are better than Zach Wilson.
Oh my god!
We're also better than Tim Boyle.
I won't waste any airtime on how much I despise Zach Wilson just as a football player. He's just god awful. Anyway, he's about to. Oh, thank God Aaron Rodgers is on the roster, or Robert Saleh might be fired this year too. Literally, Aaron Rodgers is the only reason Robert Saleh is not getting fired this year.
Yeah.
Same with that offensive coordinator Hackett.
He's bad.
Christ. Anyway, last game. The Cincinnati Bengals only losing by a score to the Pittsburgh Steelers, surprisingly, going to Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. The Jaguars, they had I don't know if you watched all of that game. I did. Jacksonville had a hell of a game against the Texans. It came down to the Texans kicker being terrible. And that was the only reason they won that game. Like, I mean, not to give poo-poo to Jacksonville. Like, they looked a lot better in that game than they did against us. And Cincinnati coming in, yeah, they're going to be playing for dignity. That defense isn't going to play any less hard. But Jacksonville wants to really try to take that number 1 seed from Baltimore and Kansas City. So they'll smell blood in the water with Cincinnati's offense now being inept without Joe Burrow. This is a pretty safe bet. Jacksonville should get an easy win at home.
Yeah, totally agree. Cincinnati's got nothing right now. I mean, they were able to keep pace with Pittsburgh, but it's only because Pittsburgh is also atrociously bad. Somebody told me the stat. I don't remember if it was you or whoever told me the stat, but in like 25 starts, Kenny Pickett has never thrown multiple touchdowns in a game, which is just a remarkable stat to me. Like, I don't know how you could possibly start 25 games and have not thrown 2 touchdowns in a game yet, but he has yet to do so. So Pittsburgh's offense is legendarily bad. Their defense is pretty decent. But the Browning, or I think is his name for the Bengals now, he's just not good. I mean, he's new. He's a rookie. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not ready to play. The Jags defense is pretty decent. They were like a top 5 or a top 10 defense when we played them a few weeks ago. They're still playing very good. The Jags offense is not bad. Now the Bengals defense is pretty decent, but they're going to run into the classic trap where they're just going to be out there on the field a bunch because the offense is just going to do a bunch of 3 and outs or like 1 series, 2 series out, whatever. So they're just going to get tired and run down. I see this as also being a fairly boring Monday night football game. I don't think it's going to be very competitive in any way, shape, or form. I think it's going to be a Jags stomping, to be honest.
See, the times weren't on here, so I used context clues to pick up the Kansas City was Sunday night, which I'm not surprised Kansas City got a Sunday night game. Really, the Bengals and Jags?
Yeah.
I mean, back in the, before Burrow's injury, that would have been exciting.
Yeah, I mean, if this was 3 weeks ago and Burrow was coming in hot and the Bengals were tied right there at the top of the division or 1 game behind the Ravens, I mean, this is a good game. It's Jags, Bengals, both fighting for position in the AFC. I mean, they'd be pretty hyped up for this particular game. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman would be going nuts, salivating all over themselves. But now it's just going to be a, well, ho-hum, Joe Burrow's not here, make a bunch of excuses for the Bengals and how their players are still going to try and do things. And Jamar Chase is this and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the Jags are just running all over them.
Well, look at you, Jacksonville, getting a primetime game. I don't remember seeing a game with Jacksonville in the dark. I honestly don't remember the last time I saw that Or no. I'm sorry. That was last year when or was it 2 years ago when the Chargers absolutely crapped the bed against Jacksonville? That was a primetime game Jacksonville had.
That was a playoff game.
Yeah, it was a playoff game and it was in the dark. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
That was last year.
Okay, so
when the Chargers charged all over themselves and Jacksonville came back from like 40 points down to win that game.
Yeah. Okay. So it hasn't been that long since Jacksonville played with their lights on. That's what I was getting at. Before that game, I don't remember, but
it had been a really long time.
Yeah, good for you, Jacksonville. You actually got a Monday night football game. That's good for you, and it should be a win because you're not going against Joe Burrow. So I mean, asterisks or not, whatever. No, that should be a good win for them. And honestly, I mean, good luck taking number 1 from Baltimore because they just look indestructible right now. I hate to say it, but
yeah. Well, unfortunately for Jacksonville, it doesn't look like they're going to pick up any pace this week because the Ravens are off. It looks like the Chiefs are going to win, and the Dolphins are probably going to win too. Ground this week.
Oh, you're back. You disappeared for a second.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that unfortunately for the Jags, it doesn't look like they're going to make up any ground this week because the Ravens are off, and then the Chiefs and Dolphins also look like they're going to win this week. So I don't think they're going to make up any ground.
Yeah, no, but I mean, they'll add up a little bit of hype for them, and they will they're in the same boat that we are, like solidifying their division, racking up the wins. They should win the South now. Unfortunately, I really like this Houston team. I feel bad that they're probably not going to win the division now.
Can still make playoffs.
Oh yeah, for sure. They could definitely still be a wild card, but I'm a little bummed out for D'Amico. He's really D'Amico definitely should be in the running for Coach of the Year. If he's not the front runner, I'd be shocked to see who the front runner is if it's not him.
Oh, it's stupid. What's his face from the Eagles?
Sirianni, really?
Oh, I'm sure they're 10-1, leading the NFC. Of course, he's going to be a front runner right now.
The Coach of the Year typically goes to the overperformer, though, doesn't it?
I'm quite sure it's going to be Sirianni at this point in time. I'll look it up while you're doing the other thing.
All right. With that, that's our parlay picks, everybody. So with that, I need to give him a little time and talk to you about our sponsor. RoyalRetros.com. What is RoyalRetros.com? It is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey, whether it's football, like the podcast you're listening to, or baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey. They have authentic throwback jerseys for all the major sports. And you Niners fans listening right now can go onto Royal Retros and check out their Candlestick collection. It's a bunch of curated 49er-centric items. And if there's anything in particular that you like, go ahead and throw it into your cart and use our promo code Shady Sports, and that will get you 10% off of your entire order. Again, it is promo code Shady Sports, and that will get you 10% off of your entire order. Go to RoyalRetros.com and check out the Candlestick collection and check out everything that they have in their inventory. They have some really nice stuff there. But yeah, go to RoyalRetros.com. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. Easy E, I should be saying. Did you find?
I do not have any. I do not have anything for Coach of the Year. They do not have that on Draftkings. I do, however, have.
Really?
I know. For most, it's unrelated, but most valuable player, you can still get Brock Purdy at plus 1,700, which is not bad odds for a guy who, if he wins this coming week against the Eagles, is going to be in the front runner for MVP.
Oh, yeah, that will easily drop down to, if it doesn't go positive, if he beats the Eagles, that will go down to probably minus 700 or not, if not 500.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But just so if you want to get your wager in now, you can still get good money on Brock Purdy at plus 1,700. So
exactly. I'm just, wow, that's really surprising. I was trying to. Oh no, I got Coach on my phone.
Oh, well, see, I'm on the website. I can't do my phone. I'm podcasting for the phone.
Dan Campbell plus 130, D'Amico Ryans plus 275, Mike McDaniel plus 450. That's the top three.
Really? All right.
Yeah, Sirianni's down at 5th at plus 1,000.
I'm surprised Kyle's not in there.
Kyle is 2, 4, 6, 8, or 2, 4, 6, 8, 9th at plus 2,200.
See, that's good money for Kyle right now. If you get out on Kyle, again, they win this week, he's going to jump right up there.
Oh, there we go. Sean Payton. I wonder how much he climbed up in the past couple weeks because he's 8th at plus 2,000.
I'm sure he's moved up a bunch in the last couple weeks.
That clip from Family Guy has gone viral of the horse that was about to get put down, and then he kicks the gun, and then he jumps on the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, ready to race." That's so funny. But anyway, guys, I need to talk to you about the charitable act that we are doing here on Niner Nuts. James and I had decided that we wanted to bring attention to everybody. Just some inconsistencies in tolerating bad behavior with players and owners. Like with players, they get suspended pretty regularly and pretty harshly. But when it comes to an owner, they can say some wild stuff and do some wild stuff with virtually no repercussions. So we decided to come up with this little hashtag and saying below us, owner standards over player standards, hashtag owner accountability. It started all the way back with Dan Snyder before he was ousted. But really, the hashtag owner accountability we came up with when it came to light the Texans owner, minority owner, was accused of some pretty horrendous crimes in Kentucky. And then our own acting owner, face of the franchise, Jed York, was involved with his own little civil lawsuit. And now, over the weekend, Jim Irsay decided to say some stupid stuff. And the owner of the Carolina Panthers is making some headlines too with some of his questionable decision making. So, but that's more football related, not criminal related. Just make that perfectly clear. But anyway, owner standards over player standards, owner accountability. The charitable part of this is we have designed a handful of t-shirts that we are selling on bonfire.com. You can go to bonfire.com/NinerNuts and you'll find all of these shirts here. Again, all the money is going to a crisis center in Kentucky. This just has the slogan on it, owner standards over player standards, and hashtag owner accountability. Quite a few different colors that you could pick. And it's also in long sleeve, hoodie. It doesn't have to be a t-shirt if you don't want. The prices start at $23. The next design, we brought this back. We were retiring this after Dan Snyder got ousted, but we decided to bring it back for this. It is the owners in a Mexican standoff style standoff. It's if that's your sense of humor, it's perfect. Same price as the other t-shirts. But yeah, get it while we still have it. We might retire it for real after this. The next shirt is our cover art. You see it when you open up Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you listen to our podcasts. But if you want an alternate to this logo, we have this beautiful design here with the cross beams and the couple peanuts on it. James has this shirt. It's beautiful quality for the fabric, and it prints absolutely beautiful too. And then our next shirt is our cutest shirt is our mascot of Peanut eating peanuts, watching the 49ers with his hat, and just having a grand old time watching us beat the Hawks and hopefully beating the Eagles this Sunday. But yeah, like I said, all the money is going to charity. We don't want a dime for any of these shirts. We just want to get you a cool shirt while we're helping out some families in need in Kentucky. So with that, the only bit of news that I have, we're taping in the middle of the Monday night game. Hopefully no one gets critically injured like when we taped when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. But I just want to give a little shout out to Frank Reich. He was the coach here in my home state for 7 years. Really got the short end of the straw for most of those years. Got fired mid-season. Just got fired mid-season by Carolina this year. It sounded like he kind of wanted it. In things I've read, it sounded like that he really kind of wanted out of this about as much as the owner wanted some change. So maybe this was more mutual than Indy, but no, I just wanted to give him a little bit of love. I feel bad for him. He's a great guy from all the interviews I've seen, and I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my head around that you got fired twice mid-season. So I don't know. From Niner Nuz, I don't know. I'm sure you'll be fine, but no, it's obviously not easy to get fired. So just some love to Frank Reich. Eric, did you have any thoughts on that as well? Let's open the floor to you.
Like I said before, man, my man is getting paid a lot of money to stay at home and watch football over the holidays and eat Christmas cookies with his family. So I think he's going to be A-okay. He'll land somewhere premium next season. He'll be a little offensive coordinator or some sort of like coaching wizard with some other team, and he'll be just fine. So, I mean, it sucks to be out of a job, but it's really hard to feel bad for a guy who's still making millions. So I'm all right.
True. Very true. Anyway, that's all we got for this episode. We're going to be back Friday with a more in-depth look into our fears and optimisms, both as we go against the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday. By the way, didn't say it yesterday. It is the primo 4:30 kickoff on Fox. We got Kevin and Greg, I believe. I forget Greg's partner's name. Fox fought very hard to not get this game flexed into Sunday night, and I don't blame them. This is going to be a big game, big audience, a lot at stake, and we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth at what's at stake in 2 days. So tune in. Outro music, River Road by Justin Muth, and as always, beat the Eagles. We'll see you when we see you.
Later on.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way you winding.